Okay, so if you are someone who is trying to eat healthy, I think one of the most important things to do is to actually read our ingredients. And the more we can control our ingredients, the better. So there are so many things that we can buy that are just regular condiments and everyday things that we may not be thinking about that are impacting our health and our wellness. And if you are someone who has histamine intolerance or any other intolerance and you're trying to avoid certain things, then this is definitely one of those things that you want to stick around and watch, because I'm sharing with you how to make refrigerator pickles, pickled red onions, and chicken salad in the Instant Pot that literally takes 25 minutes, and you have a delicious and satisfying meal, especially in the summer and the hotter months when we want some cool and satisfying foods. So stay tuned. Okay, we're gonna jump right in and make this really simple brine. All that it's gonna take are a few ingredients. You're gonna use some dried parsley, bay leaves, cloves. You need a couple of glass jars or bowls. You need a small pot or saucepan, and you're going to add vinegar and water. All of these details are going to be listed on the blog at styleandstewardship.com. I'll leave the link in the description. So you're going to add those, and then you're going to add in your salt and turbinado sugar. I'm using turbinado sugar. You could use cane sugar or any sugar that you prefer. We're going to add in our salt, and these are all the ingredients that we're going to add to the water, and this is going to just get simmered, and it's only going to simmer for a few minutes. It's just going to dissolve everything, bring everything together, and pickles just get better as they sit, like anything else. I'm adding bay leaves in, and I'm going to go ahead and add them into the water. You can save that for last if you want to, but I'm actually going to make these really quickly so I can use them today. The water is going to help the bay leaves to kind of reconstitute since it's a dried leaf. And once everything dissolves, we're going to get everything in jars with everything else. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put my glass jars aside, and I am using some washed small English cucumbers. These are seedless. You could use one long English cucumber. I picked mine up, this little bag from Aldi, for like $1.79, I believe, and it has about 7 or 8 of them. So I made 2 jars of pickles with this. So to each jar or to a glass bowl, what you're going to do first is you're going to slice this into rings if that's the way that you want your pickles, or you can take lay them on their side and slice them lengthwise so you get that spear shape, which my son really likes. But however you do it, just slice up your cucumbers, set them aside, munch on whichever ones you don't use. And I'm just continuing on to just stack these inside of the glass jars. Use whatever containers you like, but I like these mason jars because they just look really pretty. And honestly, they're just really easy to find. So I'm just cutting all of these up. You can use different seasonings, but this is the brine that I find is not overpowering, and it has herbs that we actually really like. The bay leaves give it a really nice touch. It's kind of hard to describe, but this is what it looks like when it has all been simmered and everything is dissolved. It's brown because of the type of sugar that I used. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice up some garlic, and I like to use fresh garlic cloves for this, and I just do about 2, so 1 per jar or 2 per large jar. You can put a little bit more garlic if you prefer. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer all of that in. These literally taste better the next day, but like I said, we're going to eat these kind of within about 30 minutes. I'm going to cool this off. We're going to start by adding half of our dried ingredients. I have some dried parsley. I don't know what it is, but this combination, I've done several combinations, and this is the one that my family loves and that I love, and it's really versatile. I'm just using some cracked black pepper. You could use peppercorns if you would like, and I'm just adding that in there, and then we're just going to top everything. So these, I want to say there's 3 cucumbers in this small jar. This is a 16-ounce ball mason jar. We are going to do the same thing with some red onions. I am obsessed with these pickled red onions. I put them on everything. I put them on sandwiches, on salads, on burgers, on everything. So you want to start by slicing your red onions. You just get the top and the bottom off, and then I like to peel that thick part right here. Be careful if you're using a really sharp knife, which you want to be using right here, but be careful with that. Next up, I'm going to slice this. You could also use a mandolin slicer, and make sure you use that guard or like that, the mesh or like the mesh stainless gloves that come with some of those. Once I get to the bottom part, I'm no hero. So I am going to chop this instead of continuing on. And it just looks really good layered in the jar. And then this could be used on top of things like, you know, a salad really quickly. You could pop this in some tuna salad, or just put this on anything else as just the pickled condiment that you would like to use. So once that is all done, I think it took me about 2 small red onions for 2 jars. And when you layer it in here, you could actually chop them all if you preferred to do that, and you did not want to, you know, you didn't have a really sharp knife, or you didn't want to cut the really thin slices of red onions. However you want to do it, it's going to have the same flavor. This is super versatile, and once you get this brine down, there are so many other things that I have placed in this. And if you have something like histamine intolerance, then avoiding some of those store-bought ones is what you want to do for sure. I'm just adding the dried ingredients, the other half in here, because I made pickled red onions and the refrigerator pickles. But I love that I don't have to worry about colorants and additives and preservatives and things that are really terrible for us. And the good thing about these is you can actually reuse this brine. So I like to use mine about twice. This is what it looks like when it is nice and dissolved. I have my 2 bay leaves in here. Again, that's optional, but mine is this color because I use turbinado sugar that has just more of a molasses content, so that's why it's brown. I like to go ahead and get like a Pyrex glass jar, something that has a pour spout. This just makes life easier, right? So I just pour that in there, and then I'm going to place that aside and allow that to cool. You can even stick an ice cube in here if you wanted to. So after mine is cooled just slightly, since I'm going to use them soon, I'm going to go ahead and put it in here while it's warm so that I can use it within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Once I add this warm liquid on top, it's actually going to infuse pretty quickly, which is a good thing. So I like to go ahead and, if I'm making something like what I'm about to show you, I like to give myself about 30 minutes right before I start making what I'm going to use this as a topping for. This is a glass bowl option. I've used that before too. And do not throw the brine away. Almost all of my onions are gone, but a few. But what I did was I went ahead and I got another onion and I chopped it up and I put it in there. I reused the brine for about 10 days. I put it on sandwiches. I put it, when I say I put it on so many things, I put it on top of salad. It just gives such a great, great flavor. It's very inexpensive, and you probably already have these things sticking around. So what we're doing next is we are grabbing our Instant Pot, and I have 3 large boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I'm going to place that in this steel bottom of my Instant Pot. This is when the Instant Pot just comes to life for me, when it makes things that usually I don't like doing a lot easier. I always like to wear plastic gloves whenever I touch meat. Am I the only one that does that? I just don't like the way it feels on my hands. And I do the same thing with onions sometimes. So I'm just going to add those to the bottom of the stainless steel pot, and then we're going to add in some seasonings. And this is what makes chicken in the Instant Pot delicious. That is making sure we're infusing flavors from the jump. So what I like to do is I like to add in smoked paprika, I'm using sea salt, I'm using celery seed, and I'm using dried onions. I'm also adding in some coconut oil. This might seem strange, but this is so that my chicken is not going to dry out. Then you're going to use a cup of water, or you're going to use a cup of chicken stock or vegetable stock. If you're trying to watch your ingredients and control them and get some really good ingredients in, you want to use water instead, so you don't have to worry about things that have been sitting on a shelf for a while, especially if you have sensitivities like I do. So I'm adding in the smoked paprika. These specific flavors just bring such a great flavor to the chicken, and it infuses in there. If you're using chicken breast that has skin on, you can skip this part with adding fat. I'm just adding some water in here. Again, you could use whatever stock you like. Just check your ingredients, make sure they're good ingredients. Once it's done, this is what it looks like. And I'm just going to take out my chicken breast, and I have this glass cutting board that I like to use. I've linked one below. I just don't like putting hot meat on a wooden chopping block. I also reserve this because that's going to be a type of meat stock. You can use that. You just created your own chicken stock. So save that. You can use that to cook vegetables in, or rice, or anything like that. Or if you're making mashed potatoes, I have one where I make a 4-minute Instant Pot mashed potatoes on this channel. I'll try to link that as well. I like chunky chicken salad. If you like shredded, you can take both of your forks and you can shred this apart. If you're someone who has one of the hand mixers or stand mixer, you can place your chicken breast and allow the big paddles to kind of shred that up. That's another little trick, but I actually like a rustic, chunky, not completely broken down and shredded chicken for my chicken salad. You can make this however you would like. Once you get those seasonings in there, it's really versatile and you can do so many different things with this. But specifically, we're going to make chicken salad because when the summer comes around, for whatever reason, I call it chicken salad season because I specifically want chicken salad. I want something cold and hearty, or I want something like fruit on the side. I don't know why. Are you like that? Let me know what you like to eat during the summer, but I literally crave chicken salad during the summer. It's the only time that I really want it. So I'm going to cut this all up. You're going to leave all of your herbs on there. It gives it I like the way it looks too. You can also add a little bit of oregano, which is really good on here, or some tarragon or sage if you want to get fancy. But this one's a lot more versatile, where if I want to make something other than chicken salad, I could use this for chicken pot pie or something like that, which is the other thing that I like to do with this. It takes 25 minutes in the Instant Pot, and it's just so easy to make. When it comes to chicken salad, I really like to use the best ingredients that I can, and I like to use a avocado mayonnaise because a lot of it, like there are a lot of like big chains out there that use mayonnaise that are not really great when you look at the recipes online, when you look at the ingredients and the nutrition facts. So I'm using something that I know is gluten-free and dairy-free, and it doesn't have any sodium EDTA and all of these crazy preservatives that are terrible for our microbiome. So I really like to use the avocado oil mayonnaise. So the avocado mayonnaise, I'm using 3/4 cup. I like the Chosen Foods brand. I share that in the grocery hauls all the time that I get from Costco. You can also get it from different stores, and there's links on my website for Instacart where you can pick it up wherever it is that you shop. And I also like to add in a little bit more seasoning here. So if you didn't put salt or you didn't use stock in your chicken when you made it in the Instant Pot, then you can use this as an opportunity to add a little bit more season. And that's where it gets really, you can get fancy with this, right? You can make it like I've made it on other videos where I've put diced raisins and grapes in there, and pecans or apples. You can, once you have this base, you can really get creative with it. But this is just the classic that pairs really well with what I'm going to use it for in just a moment. So I diced up some celery. You could also add a little bit of onion to this if you want to, but it's really, really, really simple. I don't know why I would even buy this because it's so easy to make. So I'm adding a little bit more celery seed, and I'm just going to whisk that in. The celery seed just gives it a really, really distinct flavor, and it is kind of like my secret sauce for my sauce. And you can also add apples and nuts and seeds right here if you wanted to. And if you want it really, really creamy, you can always add a little bit more mayonnaise if you want. This is one of those areas where adding fat is actually really, really tasty because you're using something that's virtually fat-free with this boneless, skinless chicken breast. And it's a great way to add flavor back in, and it will taste even better the next day. So once we get all of our chicken in there, we're going to add in our celery. And this is just a great way to add in some minerals. It's a great way to get in something that's really hydrating, and celery has silica, and it has potassium, and it has manganese, and it has just a really great mineral profile. It has magnesium in it, and we need silica for our connective tissue. So this is something where you're getting nutrients in, and of course, if you can get organic celery, go for that. If not, get what you can. But this is also really hydrating. I think that's another reason why I crave this during the summer, because it has that hydrating, satiating, healthy fat, healthy, complete protein that we all really, really need, especially if we're running around in the hot sun and we want to eat something that's cool, that's cooling. And I love to just serve this with some of those pickles that I made and some like almond flour crackers. So next up, we are making chicken salad tacos with red pickled onions and barbecue sauce. I recently packed these for a trip that me and my family took together, and this traveled so well. All we did was put this chicken salad with some ice packs, and I carried these almond flour tortillas on the side and some of the pickled red onions, and that is what we're doing. We're gonna layer this in, and if you don't have taco stands, they are a game changer, especially if you do Taco Tuesday like we do all the time. So we're just gonna layer that chicken in, this creaminess, and then we're gonna add the crunch of either shredded lettuce or some cabbage slaw with no dressing on it. And then you can top it with avocado and these pickled red onions. This flavor combination is so good. You can add cilantro on here, you can get creative, and I absolutely love this. We make this on a weekly basis, and I'm adding my favorite Hawaiian barbecue sauce on top. And this is like, it has no horrible ingredients and it's gluten-free. This is what it looks like when it's done. It has avocado and the pickled red onion and the cilantro, and it is so good. So if you try it, please let me know. Here's the plain chicken salad if you just want to take that for lunch or have it on a charcuterie board. These are so good. I hope you enjoy them. Until next time, your life matters. What you do with it matters. So what will you steward well? Peace.